Nowadays, books are still used, but for a faster communication, people prefer to use the latest technology. That's why I decided to transform my graduation project from a book to an app. First of all, I decided to use processing for my application because it's a language for learning how to code within the context of the visual arts and runs also on an Android phone. I downloaded the program from the official site, I watched the tutorials, I read the theory, and I followed the examples. My app contains 5 chapters. The first one has more functionalities than the other one. It contains a scroll function and a quiz at the end of it. The other chapters contain images with text and illustrations. I started coding by displaying an image. I did this by watching the tutorials. I saw that it is needed to declare the background, the size of it, 1080 with 9020 because this is the size of the phone screen. And to access the image, you have to load it on a folder named Data. After I saw the code is working in Java mode, I wanted to see if it will work in Android mode. So I saved the file and I connected the phone to the computer, and it worked. This block of code I wrote is in void setup function because it rolls only once. And there is another function named void draw which rolls over and over again. Here I have the switch chapter. I initialize the chapter integer with 0 because chapter 0 is the content. The other cases are for the chapters. To access the chapters, pages, and to use arrows and the menu button, I need to use mouse pressed. I opened the content image in Paint and I saw the position of them in X and Y axis by looking on bottom left. I wrote them in if conditions. To access the chapters one by one, I will use the switch function. I will use it also for the pages. This function allows me to have different pages with different content and to access them one by one. Page is an integer initialized with 1. If you press the left arrow, the number will decrease with 1, and if the number arrives to 0, then you go back to the menu. If you press the right arrow, the number is increased by 1. But for example, if the pages of the chapter finishes, you will arrive to the menu by this condition. Here the chapter has 6 pages, but the condition is for 7, so if you press 7 times, you will go to the content page. In the void chapter 0, there is only a white background and the image of the content. The second page contains a scrolling text. I used mouse dragged pgraphics, pvector, strings, and array. The variable of the pgraphics is text box. I also used pvector to know the position of the text box. I initialized a scroll variable, which is a float. Float is a term used for fractional number, with the value 20. Inside begin draw and end draw, you can write the settings of the pgraphics. I use a rectangle which is positioned at 0 and 0 and the width and the height are decreased with 1 so the text will not touch the edges of the screen. The fill and the stroke of the rectangle are white. The size text is 50 and the color of it is black, which is given by the value 0. Top left is the text align. I initialize the name of the string with print page to scroll to know where I will use it. I named the array lines. Then I use string to print my lines from the array. In the array I have 9 blocks of text separated by comma so the program can recognize it as a new part of text. I did this so it will be easier for me to arrange it, but also to print them on the screen by using the /n/n option to have them starting a new paragraph. I have 9 lines of text. The string prints the first line from the array, then the new paragraph with the new line, and so on. For the text function first, it must be specified the string x value and y, which here is scroll, so the text will start from the pixel number 20. In this way, there will be space for the arrows and the button menu. At the end of pgraphics, it must also be mentioned image with the name of the pgraphics and the position of it. The same for the text. In mouse-dragged function, I used some if functions. If the chapter is 1 and the page is 2, then execute the following code: scroll minus p mouse y, which is the last position of the mouse in the y position plus the value of the y. On this page, there is a quiz. Here you can associate an image with a period of the design history, and if it's right, then the pair should have the same color. For this, I used Paint and I measured the rectangles that will cover the image and the words. Then I put the if condition and specify the size of the rectangles. The color of the rectangles must be specified before you initialize the rectangle. The three numbers stands for red, green, and blue. In this case, the color is yellow because the maximum number of the color is 255. So maximum red and maximum of green is yellow because there is no blue added. In the second case, I choose 255 value for red, 0 for green, and 255 for blue, which is purple. In the third case, there is only one number which stands for a value of gray. It starts from 0, that is black, and it finished in 255, which is white. The other chapters contain just displaying of images by cases in switch page. In conclusion, I am happy that I used processing to achieve my idea. It is an easy way to code.